Jeff from Two Hacks Garage. Well, what you saw in the previous video is we got the bed on, we got the bumper on, we got a bunch of little things taken care of on that. We found a few items that we're going to need to take care of down the road on this. But we did test the brakes. Those brakes work pretty well. So as you saw in that last video, just a couple odds and ends to make this thing actually roadworthy. And that's where we cut it off. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to see how this thing runs and drives. Now, it's not a complete truck. Still need to finish up the AC. The front end needs to go on as far as the grill and all that type of stuff. But for today's purpose, we're just going to see how this thing does, see how it drives, see what are other things that might have come up that we need to address. Like I said before, if you're doing any project, whether it be stock and or custom or just something really wild, you're always going to find stuff that comes up. We identified a couple small items that we're going to address later on down the road. But for today, we're going to find out if this thing runs and drives like it should the first time. Hopefully it didn't jinx us. But yeah, guys, that's what we're going to do. We're going to figure it out. Mike's got some tuning to do on this with the HP tuner setup. So with that, guys, let's go ahead and get started. See ya. All right, well, before we actually go for a test drive, Mike's got to do some tune stuff. Kind of showed you a little bit of this in the last video. But as you can see, it's got a nice sound to it. Everything's nice and clean. Obviously, we'll go over this and clean it again, but let me show you what he's got going on in here.
Mine on the tranny.
So there's an HP tuner set up there, and it's showing different RPM ranges. He can go in here, he can set fuel curves, he can set timing, he can set all that fun stuff. So I just kind of wanted to show you what we're doing on this. We do got to get it up to an operating temperature, and he does have his handy dandy little portable wideband tuner in there that I showed you in the last video. Yep, like I said, guys, still got to put the front end back on, but you know what? We're leaving it off until we know everything works right. Actually looks pretty nice. So while they're tuning, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in some video of John's cool slider stuff from the last time, kind of recap of what we were doing before we got to this point. But yeah. Sounds nice. See you in a few. All right, so what Mike's doing here is you know, one of the things is when you get these done, you're always going to have the little gremlins to chase. And I threw in some video from last time, just kind of recap, time lapse of John's cool slider stuff to what we did to get here. But to make this safe and do right, we went ahead and fired it up and checked for any error codes and all that. Well, oddly enough, we fired this a lot. Everything's brand new, and an O2 sensor threw a code. So in order to tune this right and drive it down the road, data log it and all that, that O2 sensor's got to be correct. So what we did is Mike went ahead and took the O2 sensors, the bad one, swapped it to the good one to see if it's actually going to trigger that code or not. And if it is bad, we'll have to go to the parts store and replace a brand new O2 sensor. Good thing those are cheap. Yeah, right. But the other part is we got this up here and we started checking for leaks. That's just because everything is new, and before we get it on the road, we do want to be safe. We did find a couple leaks. We think we addressed them, got them fixed, tightened up, just normal stuff like that. But we'll find out more once we get this thing back going, drive it, bring it back up, and check again. So with that, guys, we're just going to go ahead and get back to work. I just kind of wanted to explain of what we got going on and why we haven't driven it yet. See you soon. All right, well, we got that problem fixed. So when Mike fired this up initially, what ended up happening was it was staying in an open loop system because it was throwing the code for a bad oxygen sensor. And so that was staying within like a predetermined tune on that, not even going off the oxygen sensor. So as you guys saw in previous videos, this is a custom wiring application where you're mating 91, 94 and the LS application all together. So we stopped. Mike started doing some brainstorming and had a light bulb idea. And this is the factory LS PCM right here. Well, we started looking at different pinouts, and the purple wire, I believe it was, that goes to the oxygen sensor is supposed to be pin 69 and ended up being pin 68. Very easy, quick fix. So Mike went ahead and stopped and got that taken care of, rewired that pin, fires it up, and voila, that took care of that problem. So again, these are the little gremlins that you come to find, but luckily we have Mike here who not only wired this, he knows his stuff about it, and it was a really quick fix. We're going to do real quick is we're going to take a quick 5, grab a bite to eat, and get cranking back more on this. See you soon. All right, well, it's going for its first drive, reversing out of the driveway, but it is what it is. The maiden voyage of Project 9194. All right, well, here they come back from the first drive. You can hear them fans running. All right, well, we're actually going to call that a day. As you guys saw, we did actually drive this truck. What Mike and Micah did is they just drove it down the road, and they live kind of out in the country, small area. They drove it down the road, went down the road, came back. They data logged a bunch of stuff going on with the computer system, make sure everything's right. And I know everyone's probably wanting to see burnout videos, hammering on it, but we're going to take the safe route on this. We spent a whole lot of time on this vehicle build. So what we ended up doing was, instead of going out and hammering on all that, we want to make sure everything works. And we did that. Everything's working great. We bring it back here, put it on the lift, look for any additional leaks, because we did find a few, and we did mitigate those. So now we got a bunch of little small things, kind of what I've been referring to as gremlins with this, that we're going to take care of. But it does run, it does drive, it does everything it's supposed to do. Now it's just refining it, taking care of all those itty-bitty things that pop up, start putting everything back together. So down the road, we can get this thing painted. But there's a whole lot more to come with this, guys. So stay tuned. It's been a long weekend, and we will see you tomorrow.